In today's Growing Your Tree of Prosperity video, I'm going to talk about why I don't practice what I preach when it comes to CPF Life. Before we begin, a recap on what CPF Life is all about. When you reach 65 years old, the sums in your CPF retirement account can be annuitized. In other words, you give up a lump sum of money on your CPF retirement account and you receive a guaranteed monthly income for life. But this is a form of longevity insurance and it's not very much of an investment. You no longer receive a return for the amount of money that you park into this product. Instead, the amount that you park into the product, there will be drawdowns every month. And if you draw this amount down to zero, your beneficiaries will not receive any money because you have simply no money left in your annuity. Okay, so with that in mind, how much do you need to put in your CPF Life? Now, if you have a full retirement sum of approximately $213,000 today, under the standard plan, you can receive about $1,170 based on the CPF Life estimator that I've been trying out on the CPF website. Alright, do note that this amount is insufficient for a basic lifestyle of a 65-year-old because based on the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, you need to have about $1,400 in 2021's money, and it sort of rounds up to about $1,600 if you factor in some inflation in today's dollars. Okay, so full retirement sum is not enough. So what do I teach officially to my students on my early retirement masterclass? I teach my students that your CPF Life allocation should generally be part of your bond portfolio. They should cover 20 to 40% of your net worth, right? So up to 40% of your net worth. Now, for most Singaporeans who are reliant on CPF Life alone for the purposes of retirement, full retirement sum is not enough. You need about 150% of the full retirement sum. All right, so it's about $320,000 in today's dollars. All right, to generate enough payouts to cover your basic expenses. All right, and CPF Life's fixed payouts work very well if you combine them in tandem with a dividend portfolio, because CPF Life's payouts are fixed and they provide a very comfortable floor for a retiree. Your dividend portfolio then becomes the icing on the cake because it can grow over time. All right, so combining these two is a very good idea. All right, but for me, in tonight's video, I'm just going to explain a little bit as to why I don't intend to follow my own teachings when it comes to CPF Life. All right, and the main reason is that my situation is actually very different from a lot of people. My dividends already cover my family expenses. So I have a dividend portfolio and some rental property that produces way above how much a CPF Life payout would amount to. All right, but I'm also unfortunate in that I'm a pretty serious diabetic with poor blood sugar control, over 9 points for my HbA1c for my last checkup, and I think I'll be lucky in order to be able to attain the average lifespan of a Singaporean. All right, and furthermore, my body doesn't react well to the latest class of magical diabetic drugs like Ozempic, so it causes some problems with my pancreas, so I can't take the best drugs. Furthermore, I come from a bloodline where my grandparents are not expected to live very long. In fact, I don't have grandparents since the early 2000s. Right, and very few of my relatives live above the median age. Finally, CPF Life is longevity insurance. There is really no need for someone in my position and health to transfer longevity risk to the CPF board. I'm more likely to be one of the losers who end up contributing to the risk pool. Right, I'll end up subsidizing the longer-lived Singaporeans if I put too much money on my CPF Life. All right. Now, of course, things can change with modern science. If they can find a way to use stem cell technology to regenerate my pancreas, my situation will change. And of course, when that situation changes, my view towards CPF Life will change as well. Okay, so what am I likely to do? Now, I'm likely to pledge my property and keep the barest minimum of about $100,000 in today's dollars in my CPF retirement account when I hit 55 years of age, and I'll likely pick the standard plan, which is the highest payout plan over the short term, so that I can draw down the sums as early as reasonably possible. The amounts withdrawn is not likely to be spent on travel. I don't have a bucket list. I don't have a place that I must go when I hit 55 years old. Instead, what it will likely do is it will either offset any remaining mortgage that I have, or it might add to my dividend portfolio. Whatever it is, it will be used to generate more income for me. All right, and finally, personal finance is personal. When you look at how I think about CPF Life, generally speaking, it will not apply to you in your own personal circumstances. It is probably useful to sort of listen to me and go through my thinking processes. And let me know in the comment section what you intend to do with your CPF Life. All right. Okay, for those who like my content, you can subscribe to my channel, right? You can buy me a coffee by following this link. If you want to listen to my life story and figure out how the financial independence and retire early movement works, Google ERM intro and take the first link. I should have a very interesting preview this week that talks about the consequences of interest rates going down, right, for safer instruments like Singapore savings bonds. Okay, so thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.